Hey guys, it's Chris Martin here with The Real Albuquerque coming to you today with our Wednesday message. Today we're going to talk about getting light and traveling light in life. So I was once traveling, I travel a lot back and forth between here and Russia, and when you travel internationally, you're only allowed to carry one bag, right? And it's like up to 50 pounds, and you can carry a backpack and everything like that, but when you're traveling, you really have to travel light. You have to pick the most essential things that are going to be what you need for that journey or that trip. And that kind of is a microcosm of a macrocosm of life. Like I always say, I love these macrocosms. So today we're going to talk about traveling light. It's going to be a short message, maybe 15, 20 minutes, but this should help you out with things in life. When you start to gather things in your life, whether that be physical objects, baggage as they call it, from relationships or just life in general. You get emotional baggage. Someone said something negative to you. Sorry, my eye is all itchy. Someone said something negative to you, or somebody dumped you, or someone said you're this or you're that, and that gets ingrained in your mind, and it makes you start to think about maybe it's true, and then you start, your energy follows intention, so you start thinking this is true, and that just weighs you down as baggage. But today we're going to talk about getting light and traveling light. Hey, so if you can travel light, which if you physically or literally travel, you have to, because you're forced due to these airlines to travel light. Otherwise, hey, if you take 2 bags to overseas, they're going to charge you another 50 to $100 to, then that's outrageous, and that's each way. So on the way back, you have to, pay the same amount to come back. So you're looking at 200 to $100 to take with you things that may not be necessary. So think about that in life. What are you taking and carrying with you on your, your shoulders here that are weighing you down and costing you maybe emotional money, maybe physical money, right? What are you traveling with in your life that's holding you back or holding you down? Those could be things of this entitlement stuff. This could be this ego stuff, right? This could be plenty of different things, but when you're traveling through life, if you want to think about life as a journey, I think of life as multiple destinations, multiple pit stops onto this epic, castle kingdom that I'm trying to build and be a part of. So I like to think of life as these multiple pit stops, these multiple sub-journeys, right? And these multiple sub-journeys have multiple things going on there. So there's multiple sub-journeys happening, right? But when you're doing all this stuff, you got to travel light, man. You got to take all that stuff that doesn't serve you and doesn't help you and leave that shit to the side, right? You don't need to be traveling with this. It's going to cost you money if you literally travel, but it's going to cost you emotional stress and mental stress. I'm pointing to my head if you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher or TuneIn, but I'm pointing to my head. It's going to cost you some mental anxiety, stuff you don't need to be adding to your life. Life is really hard enough as it is. Trying to move forward is hard enough as it is. Trying to gain ground for your kingdom is hard enough as it is. Why would you travel heavy and carry all that extra baggage on your back and your shoulders and your mind, right? I recently talked last week about, the death march that you do, where you actually physically travel heavy, right? You pay to travel heavy. You pay to join the Baton Death March and carry 40 to 35 pounds of weight on your backpack for 26.2 miles. So you're intentionally riding heavy. And when after that, I want to get as light as I can. I want to take all my clothes off and, strip down. I don't want to carry anything that I don't need, And when you do these hikes and stuff like that, and you travel where you're carrying stuff in, where you have to carry in, you pack in what you have to pack out, you really just think about what's the essential stuff. What can I live by in those 7 days when you're going overseas? What can I live by in those 2 days when you're going on a hike and you're basically carrying everything that you need to survive, but you're not carrying anything extra, right? You're not carrying what somebody said about you. You're not carrying what society thinks about you or what society thinks you're doing. You're not carrying, I just don't know, other things, right? You're not carrying that extra teddy bear that gives you comfort at night because, hey, there may not be enough room in your bag. Physically, there may not, may weigh you down. But emotionally, are you going to be carrying that too, or are you going to get light emotionally? You don't need that teddy bear to console you at night. What you need is your dreams and some action to console you. You need to be moving forward. So traveling light that you can be anywhere at any second, right? Mentally and physically. Can I go from one project to another project, right, in life and not have to be thinking about, well, I got all this other stuff going down, and traveling light's been a big part of my life, and it's only been coming to fruition physically, like traveling and the Baton Death March, where I actually travel heavy on purpose, and go that experience. But when you travel overseas, you have to travel really light. You have to carry the essentials, and you have to really decide of what the essentials are. When you travel to go to college or you move back from college, you have to decide what's essential, right? When you move to another apartment, to a house, you have to decide what's essential, right? You have to basically decide what you need and what you don't need, and that goes into like a garage sale or something like that. One thing that I like to really think about, and as another example, is your email inbox, right? I talk to people about this all the time. I see people's phones and and the first thing I'll look at when I see someone's phone or they show me their phone is how many, if it's an iPhone, I can visually tell. I don't know how to do it on Android. I'm not too versed there. But I look, on that inbox. What does your email inbox say? Mine says one message, right? And that one message is something I have to do today. That's something I got to take care of, right? But I leave that as a reminder of, when I look at my phone, I got to take care of that. But I'm going to speak to you guys today, and then I'm going to take care of this and make that inbox 0. But I look at other people's phone, they have 3,000 email messages. They have 500 email messages. I've seen one as crazy as 10,000 email messages. And, at the end of the day, I always strive to have my email box be 0. Now, that's not always possible, but I want my inbox to be 0, or in a sense that's so manageable that I have the stuff that I need to do in a subfolder that I can attack that list by list the next day, right? I may get a message at 8 o'clock or 8:40 at night. I'm going to check that. I check my email all the time, and I answer people all the time. So if you know me, you're going to get an email message from me if I'm in Russia, if I'm here in America, if I'm in Texas, if I'm in Phoenix, if it's 8 o'clock, if it's 9 o'clock, if it's 7 a.m., if it's 8 a.m., if you send me an email, I'm going to respond back to you, right? That's how I attack it. I don't care where I am, as long as I have cell signal and that 1 turns into a 2, right? I'm gonna check out what that 2 is, and I'm going to answer that, and if it's junk, I'm just going to delete it. And that's a simple process. But I see so many people with email inboxes where they have thousands of emails and no one ever answers you back, and they're flaking around or do whatever they do. But I don't see that as an excuse. Maybe you're in higher power and you have thousands of emails. Well, can you spend an hour and knock out all those and say yes, no, yes, maybe, okay, got it, check, delete? And then you're so inundated with CCs and BCCs that are just knowledgeable, but no one takes the time to actually read that they're a BCC and move on and just mark that email off. So that's another thing of traveling light. What pressures do you have on you in life? My email box is a big pressure to me because that, for some reason, is indication of shit I got to get done, right? So I try to heavily attack my email inbox so I don't have things to do. So I can go to bed sleeping light. I can sleep airy. I can take all this stress off my mind. I can think about, what I want to think about. I can hang out with my cat Chloe. I can, talk to friends on SMS. I can call people. I can spend my time doing other things instead of worrying about what I need to get done. Right? That's the problem with a to-do list that I don't like about a to-do list, is it adds all this mental burden on me of things I got to get done. But the second thing I like about to-do lists is it adds a mental burden on me of things I got to get done. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? It adds pressure on me to get things done. So that's why I like to use those I like to use to-do lists, because for me to get progress, I have to knock these things out. And that's a daily thing. I have a daily to-do list I write the day before of things I got to get done, things that are going to move me forward. And if I don't move forward, then that day's a loss, and I have all this stress and mental pressure, not stress, but I have mental pressure of being like, I got to get it done. So that mental pressure will keep me up till 10, 11 at night trying to get these things done so I don't have to worry about it. I can sleep light, man. I can count the sheep at night. I can be airy. I can get light. I can travel light. I can go to work and be, positive. I'm not, when you go to work and you see 1,000 emails or 100 emails in the morning, that could be a little disheartening, and that happens to me. Between the time I go to bed and the time I wake up, there could be 50, 60 emails in the morning, right? But I go down each one, knocking it down, marking it as read. If it's a BCC, reading it, understanding it, putting it in my mind, and then so if someone asks me about it later, I know what they're talking about. I don't just delete or skip. If it's trash or junk, I hit delete, of course. But if it's something worth noting, I'll read it and mark it off and move on. And then some things I can't do at night. So like I said, I'll move that email to a folder that I have it like a to-do folder. I have a Chris folder where I tack things the next day. Because I don't have my hard drive, my external hard drive where it has pictures, or I don't have the certain file to solve the problem, or it's just my phone here, so I can't attach, the application or the credit app to somebody who's inquiring about that. So I need that, I need to be in the office for that. But I really want to encourage you guys just to travel light. Think about this. If you have a garage and it has full of crap, or you're have this hoarding mentality, you look at that every day. You go to some people's houses and they have shit everywhere and stuff everywhere. And you know how much mental pressure that must put on people, And I have this too. I'm not, a saint here. But I try to combat that with having a minimalist lifestyle. And if you see my office at my desk, it's very minimal. I have 2 shelves on top of essential books and magazines that I need. I have my desk. I have a stack of my to-do list. I have my computer, and that's it. I don't have stuff scattered everywhere. And the days I do have stuff scattered everywhere, it's because I'm making stuff happen and I'm moving stuff off that to-do list onto the done box, right? The out box. I moved it to the out box where someone else can deal with it, and it's on to somebody else's plate. That's one thing about emails and traveling light is so many times in life, people are waiting and get into holding patterns for you to take action, right? And this could be relationships, this could be business, this could be personal, this could be a lot of different things. But people get into this holding pattern where they're waiting for you to take action. And because you don't take action, it's cool that they don't take action, right? And so when you have an email that says, hey, will you do this for me? And I instantly respond like 30 seconds later saying, boom, here it is, done. Now it's back on their plate and they have to take action. Now the whole project is on them again. But they don't want that. They hope you to slow roll it, and so they can slow roll life and be like, oh, I'm waiting for Chris to email me back, or I'm waiting for Chris to send me this. So I'm waiting for somebody else, so I don't have to do my job because I'm waiting for somebody, right? That's a cop-out excuse. I don't like excuses in life. I don't like excuses at all. I like action. I like to take action, and I like to do action. So many times, if you get an email from me, you send me an email, I'm going to email you back if I can within a minute, and that's no joke. And sometimes it takes 5 minutes, and if I'm into something else, I won't look at my email because I'm trying to attack something else that takes more time, and I don't have time to go back and forth on emails. But most of the time, I would say a good 60% of the time, I'm emailing you back within a minute, which is crazy. And, most of the other time, it's going to be 5 to 10. But people will want to make your life heavy to make their life light. You see where I'm going with that? They'll send you an email of, hey, Chris, will you do this? Which is maybe something they could already have done, right? By the time they emailed it and spent the 2 minutes writing the email, they could have already done it and been on, but they want you to do it, right? They want to burden you. And sometimes I'm like, well, for me to go talk to this person and tell them that they should do it, by the time I do all that and waste my time, that's 10 minutes when I can just send a 2-minute email and be done. Now I'm up to 8 minutes, right, in my life. So sometimes you have to just choose those battles of what you spend your time on. But they want to make your life heavy by sending you a task to do to make their life light. right? So everybody's really ultimately trying to lighten their life up, but they're doing it at your expense in some cases, or you're doing it to yourself in some cases, right? Are you intentionally putting shit in your bag that you don't need to be carrying around? I'll guarantee you this much. On that death march where I'm bringing 35 to 40 pounds, I traveled as light as I could. You know, in my backpack, I stripped everything out that I didn't need. I didn't need, my business cards in there from Crane Service. I didn't need, my daily to-do task list book, right? I didn't need my chapstick. Well, maybe I did need a chapstick, but I didn't need all this stuff. I didn't need my Wi-Fi card that I carry with me everywhere so I can do these emails or get on my computer and work wherever I'm at, right? I don't use location or out of office emails to say I can't work. I don't use that excuse. So if you have an out of office email, you're basically saying you have an excuse not to work, right? Do you have an excuse not to make money? Right? That's what an out of office email is. That's another topic I can talk and rant about for like 20 minutes. Because you're saying, are you out of office? You're too good to make money right now? You're too busy to make money? You're too busy to solve people's problems, to help? That out of office emails are a joke. So if you have an out of office email, when you go out of office and you're connected, right? Stop it. People don't like that. People want action. People want things to happen. But I stripped out my bag of everything I didn't need. I didn't travel intentionally heavy. I traveled heavy because I had to, but I didn't travel heavier than I needed to. You see the difference? Right? So when you're traveling across America or across the ocean or the pond, if you're British, you travel with what you need. I need actually more than 50 pounds in my bag to go to Russia because I need more things. I like to bring people gifts. I have all this stuff. I bring my own food sometimes. And which sounds crazy, but that's another topic. But, I bring some stuff there that I'm always hinging on that weight limit. But I'm not traveling heavier than, I'm not bringing my teddy bear for comfort. I'm not bringing, all this extra nonsense of like 50 different outfits I'm going to wear. No, I bring 7 strategically placed outfits and 1 nice outfit that I can, interchange with some of the other shirts I bring. And I'm good to go, right? And I have a washing machine out there so I can wash some stuff. So I'm not loading up. I'm taking minimal clothes, maximum gifts, and a little bit of food. And I wish I could have a 75-pound limit because I could max that out too of things I need. But it really comes down to a few things. Are you traveling heavier in life than you need to? That could be physical weight. Right? Are you carrying more physical weight than you need? Are you overweight? Are you carrying too much are you burdening your body so much that you're hindering yourself through physical weight, that's physical weight, mental weight of like having 1,000 emails in your phone, or having a to-do list that's like Ebenezer Scrooge's, not Ebenezer Scrooge, like Santa Claus's, naughty or nice list, when he unrolls it in those commercials. Is that your to-do list? Because that's going to add a lot of stress to your life, because how can you be positive and move yourself forward when you can't even handle taking down 5 or 6 things on your list, and when you look at your list, it's a half-mile long. That would make me just depressed right there. I'd be like, dude, why am I even going to wake up? I can't handle all this. I have 2,000 emails and I have 8 to 12 hours to answer them. How can I even accomplish this, right? And then you get into a negative mindset that's going to downward spiral you into something that's not going to be positive for your life. Same thing with your house. Do you have so much clutter and stuff going on in your house that you can't even focus on living light? And if you move, can you do it in a U-Haul, or do you need like 2 large Penske semi-trailers? Well, I guess it depends on the size of your house, and that's not really a relative example, but where I'm going with that is, if you can't manage all that stuff, what the heck's going on? If you can't manage all the stuff that you have, you're never going to be successful. And I'm throwing a lot of different topics at you guys today, and I hope this is sinking in. Maybe you need to listen to it again. Another example of this that I've learned through the Bible is, you can't be trusted with more if you can't handle what you have, right? And that example translates to, are you rolling with a dirty car, right? Does your car Does your blue car actually look like a brown car because you have so much dirt on it? Right? Do you have so much shit in your car that, when people get in, you feel embarrassed? Right? Hey, if you can't handle that, car, whatever it's a Corolla or Nissan Maxima, I'm just making stuff up, VW Bug, whatever the case is, if you can't handle making the payments or buying that outright or taking care of it and maintaining it, how can you handle, how is the universe going to let you handle a Ferrari or Mercedes or a BMW? You can't even handle, a $25,000 or $15,000, Scion, right? How are you going to handle a $90,000, $200,000, $400,000 Lambo? These are all questions you got to think about in yourself and in your head. If you can't handle that to-do list, how are you going to handle your own dreams? If you can't handle answering people back and getting things done, how are you going to handle taking on more? You're not going to be able to. Your pipeline is already maxed out with 2,000 emails that you can't even handle. So you're saying, hey, I only get $3,000 a month or $2,000 a month or 4 or 5, whatever. You need to add more to your pipeline. You need $10,000, you need $20,000 a month coming into your pipeline, right? To make yourself successful. $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000. $100,000 a month is going to get you $1 million a year, right? But how can you get that if you can't even handle taking in what you got? You can't even handle your to-do list. You can't even handle the emails. You can't even handle taking care of your car. You can't even handle taking care of your house. You're traveling so freaking heavy, you can't handle any more weight. Your body's so broken down, you might as well be crawling on the side of the road. You have too much weight, right? You need to lighten up. You need to lighten your stuff up, lighten your body up, lighten your life up, right? Lighten your head up. Hey, when you lighten your stuff up, you're able to take on more. You're able to take on more weight. And then as you take on more weight, you take off that weight, right? As you put stuff on the to-do list, you're constantly taking stuff off the to-do list. As you're answering emails, more emails are coming in, right? Things are moving. You're taking action. There's coming in, there's coming out, right? But when you weigh yourself down so much that you can't get anything moving outward, and you have so much coming in, you have a blockage, you basically put a dam on yourself, right? Because if you have 2,000, or let's say even go smaller, micro, if you have 100 emails, in, and you're only sending out 2 or 5 a day, you do the math. Or maybe let's say you're a baller or hustler, right? And you answer 50 emails a day, woo, right? You still have 50 more the next day. Then you're gonna have 150 when you come in the next day. And it's gonna compound itself so much that you're gonna be like a bureaucratic guy, or those guys like, oh, I don't have enough time for that, right? Basically what you're saying is an excuse is I don't wanna do it. I don't wanna put the time in that it takes to answer the emails. I don't want to put the time in that it takes to go to the gym to light myself up physically, right? I don't want to take the time and put into myself to take all this emotional baggage and just let it disappear, because that's not serving me positively, right? It's serving me negatively, right? So think about all that stuff. Lighten up. Take all that stuff, attack it, right? I'm too busy to take care of my dreams. I'm too busy to start a business. I'm too busy to go after my goals. Are you too busy to go after your goals? If you're too busy to go after your goals, you have something messed up in your head. Something in your process is not right, because these goals are the things that are going to move you forward. These goals, these dreams are going to take you to another level. You're going to get comfortable where you are, then you're going to get uncomfortable again. You're going to get comfortable where you are, then you're going to have to force yourself to get uncomfortable again. I talked about this last week as well in that Go-Ruck Challenge and Baton Death March. You got to get yourself uncomfortable. But you can't even do that if you can't even handle what you have. Listen, if you can't even handle washing your own car and taking care of your own car, how are you going to handle something more? How are you going to handle a Merc, right? How are you going to handle a BMW? How are you going to handle a Ferrari? You're simply not going to be able to, because those cars require even more. You know, an oil change on a Ferrari is like $2,000, right? How are you going to handle that if you can't even handle taking your own car, right? How are you going to handle keeping that Ferrari clean when that paint costs you like 50 G's, right? And if you leave dirt from the road on it, it's going to deteriorate that paint. And then you're going to have a shitty Ferrari, right? So you have to put all the stuff in your life to get you moving. You have to make the right daily stuff, the right attitudes. You got to get light in your life. If you're getting light, that means you're making things happen. So think about that, guys. I'm going to end that right here. I think I've talked enough about this. It's been a good 25 minutes here. Get light in your life. Take all that stuff off. I don't care if you have to work 7 to 7 a.m. answering those emails and deleting and unsubscribing for the stuff that doesn't matter. Get that email box to 0. Take the time. There's filters on your email box. You can search if someone's hitting you up from, let's say, Target, right? They send Target emails and newsletters. Type in your email box, Target. Click all that stuff from 10 years ago that's not gonna, those ads from 5 weeks ago aren't gonna be valid today, so it's just junk anyways. Hit Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac, hit delete, boom, that's 500 off your list right there. You're already making progress, and that took 10 seconds. You see what I'm saying? You gotta get all this stuff down to a manageable level where you can attack this up and be effective. Because if you have, let's say, 10 or 15 goals a day that you're trying to get done, that are gonna move you forward, and you only get 2 done, that's gonna be so much pressure. You're gonna feel like, man, I'm not successful. I'm not taking action. I'm not doing this. I'm not successful. And it's gonna put a mental burden on you. It's gonna make you heavy up here. Heavy, right? But if you got 10 out of those, you're like, okay, I can do this. I can attack this so well that, this is possible. You have hope. Now, let's say you're doing 17 out of 15, right? In the day you had 15 when you woke up of things that are going to move you forward that you needed to get done. And then somehow in the day, 2 added to that list. And you got all 17 done. You're like, now I'm a winner. I'm a baller. I am hustling. I got my email box down. I got my 17 things done to make me move forward. Let's write 15. Hey, let's write 17 more for tomorrow and let's see what happens. See what I'm doing? You're building momentum. You're building positive momentum. And once you build that momentum for 1 week, and you're all successful. 2 weeks, you're successful. 3 weeks, you're successful. 4 weeks. Now imagine that and you stretch that out and the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, you're all successful. And some days you're not going to get all 17. But I'm saying majority, if you're like 90 or 80% successful, man, imagine what you could do, right? Imagine what you can take on. You got flow going. You have things coming in. You have things going out. Things are moving. Things are moving. You don't have any blockage happening, right? Nothing's blocked up in your pipeline. If your sales pipeline is huge, massive with stuff going on, but you can't answer them, you can't say, yes, we're going to do that deal. Yes, I can handle that. Yes, I can do that. Yes, then these people are going to move on with life. Everybody wants it now. Nobody wants you to respond 2 weeks from now about something that, is time sensitive here, right? Because you're going to lose a sale, you're going to lose a deal, you're going to look bad in the company. People are going to say, yeah, I was waiting for Chris and then the deal fell through, then I look bad, right? So if I attack it as soon as it happens, I don't get myself either to talk myself out of it. I don't get myself to say, you're not good enough. I don't give myself that time. I answer it, move it onto someone else's plate. So when it goes wrong, it says, I can say that. It said, hey, I emailed it to so-and-so. I don't know what happened with it. It was on their plate. Ask them, I already moved that thing on. And sometimes someone will email me saying, will you do this? And I've already answered them back, and then they'll call me and say, hey, did you get my email about doing this? Like, yeah, I already did that, dude. What are you talking about? That was like 2 minutes ago, right? Or I talked about this last week when Chris Taylor from episode 1, asked me, hey, will you send me that link to that camera? Dude, and I'm already on the phone with the conversation sending it. Or someone said, hey, will you take some pictures of those documents that I had someone call me today and say, hey, those documents we went over last week, will you send me a copy? I turned them into the government and I lost them. I need you to email me those so I can have them. And while I was on the phone, I'm using my phone. I put on speakerphone, right, which exists. I used the camera, took the pictures, had the email going. While I'm talking to him on the speakerphone, I'm attaching the pictures and boom, sent. By the time I'm done with the phone call, that task is already done. I can travel light. I'm on to the next thing. You see what I'm saying? That transaction of him wanting something from me and me having to give it was solved right there. I don't have to put anything on my to-do list because I already solved it, right? It's done. It's on to something else. Now I can actually focus on what I'm doing today to move myself forward and not let other people's challenges hinder me. So I'm going to end it right there, guys. Think about this. Are you traveling light or are you paying to travel heavy? That's really what it comes down to. Think about it like that airline. Is the airline saying, you have to pay me $200 round trip to travel heavy? Are you feeling that in your pocket? Are you feeling that in your mind? Are your goals feeling it, right? Are your goals suffering because you're traveling so freaking heavy with other people's shit and you can't, and you're not, and your inability to attack goals and things comes down to what you think. Travel light. It's going to be more beneficial to you. Your goals are going to get done. You're going to save some cash if you're traveling, right? So travel light. Travel mentally light. Take that off your shoulders. You're going to feel airier, man. You're going to feel good. You're going to be smiling. You're going to be happy. Because you don't have all that stuff attacking you of like, oh, I got to do 1,000 things today and I only have 12 hours to do it if you're, you know, or I only have 16 hours to do it and I have 1,000 things. And I get attacked with that too. I get my list where it's like, man, my weekend list, I got 20 things to do and each of those 20 things is an hour-long task and I got 72 hours to do it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to work all Friday night till midnight, see where I end up. I'm going to wake up on Saturday, work, and go see my dad like I do every Saturday. Then after that, I'm going to work and see where I get done with that. And then Sunday, I can do whatever I want. I can do my own goals, or I can you know, advance those goals that I had. So think about that, guys. Travel light. You'll thank me later, and keep moving forward. Don't quit. Keep hustling, and I appreciate all you guys who are supporting me and subscribing. Share this message with people that you like who need to travel light. Share this message with people, and I think that this is something that's really going to benefit your lives. All right, guys, I'm Chris Martin from The Real Albuquerque. Of course, this is your Wednesday podcast, videocast, travel light. That's all we got to talk about. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow on our Thursday video, and we'll see you soon. All right, bye, guys.